Good morning. Welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Free Press Media Press Inc., an alternative parties books publisher, sponsors this podcast. I'm Andrew Bouchard.
Welcome to the Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Today we have the Libertarian Party of Seattle, and their representative is a woman named Danielle. So Danielle, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We are glad to have you. So let us get started by you kindly giving us an introduction to yourself, a brief biographical sketch.
Sure. My name's Danielle. I'm a big L libertarian. I've been libertarian since I registered to vote in California, and I've actually just started getting my feet wet in the party here in Washington. I'm currently sitting on the board for the Libertarian Party of King County, which includes Seattle, and then also the board for the Libertarian Party of Washington, so the whole state. And I've been involved with a lot of the events in the area over the last couple of years, including campaigning for Joe Jorgensen last year, or in 2020. Oh gosh, it's been so long.
I imagine a lot of people who are listening to this podcast are familiar with the term Big L Libertarian. In case they're not, in case there's somebody new listening, kindly explain what you mean by Big L Libertarian.
So that means that I'm registered to vote Libertarian. I'm a member of the party. I donate. And yeah, a small L Libertarian is someone who maybe kind of still is thinking about libertarianism. Maybe you think you fit there, but you're not 100% sure yet. You're certainly not a member or donating or anything like that.
All right, sounds great. So kindly tell us how you got involved in the Libertarian Party in the first place. What life events or situations led you to get involved?
I read my registration paperwork at the DMV while I was waiting to take my driver's test. And in California at that time, each political party had 2 or 3 sentences to explain what their ideas were and try to get people to choose them for their voting registration. And so I read through, all the ones that were there. There had to be 4 or 5. And libertarianism, it made the most sense to me, Don't hurt people, don't take their stuff, and certainly don't use the government to do those things to other people. And that just really resonated to me as a young 18-year-old getting their driver's license, going out in the world. And it still resonates with me now as a 35-year-old grown-ass woman. So
interesting. So 17 years ago, you first got involved.
I registered, and I started voting that way, but I wasn't, involved.
Okay.
But when I moved to Seattle, have you heard of the Seattle Freeze?
Seattle Freeze, no.
It's really hard to make friends in Seattle. It's a very introverted city, and especially during COVID, the only way I could make friends was joining a club. And I was like, I'm real passionate about this, and if I'm going to put energy into anything right now, definitely going to be this because the world's real messed up. So yeah, I moved here in 2019, and I got involved the very next year, right before the pandemic. And I'm still here, so didn't kill me.
Good. We're glad. So what issues is Seattle facing, and what issues is the state of Washington facing that the Libertarian Party in that area is addressing?
Washington's had a lot of mandates, vaccine mandates. Currently in King County, you need to show proof of vaccination to go out to eat. That includes even movie theaters where they serve food. I haven't gone to regular movie theaters, but presumably you don't have to there. I'm not sure. But yeah, you have to show a vaccination record to get into places everywhere, pretty much in King County, the county where Seattle is.
So your party is against that, like pretty much every libertarian who's discussed on this podcast. So your party's against that, right?
We're against the mandates. Obviously, if a private business wanted to say, we would like to see your vaccination status for whatever reason, we would want people to be able to choose to work with that business or not, but we wouldn't want the state telling either of them that they had to work together or not,
Sure. You see it as a private matter that businesses can choose what they want to do if they want to require it or not.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what other things are going on? COVID has been with us for a couple of years now, so what else is going on in the area that your party's dealing with?
Well, obviously COVID's not the only thing going on. Next year we have a bill for legalizing sex work, which would be great. We've also worked with different groups to help decriminalize some of the drugs in the area. They're not all legalized, but they're at least not picking people up for them, which is a step in the right direction for the drug war as far as we're concerned. We've been talking, we had a few people talking at to the legislature about some gun magazine bills that are coming up. We got a lot.
Oh, yeah. So in Seattle, a lot of the drugs are being decriminalized now?
Yeah. So they're just not picking people up for possession or being intoxicated. Obviously, if people are on drugs and they're harming people, the police are intervening then, but the drugs would not be the primary offense.
So it's not a law that's been changed, it's a matter of police priority, right?
Yes. Seattle is one of those big defund the police cities.
Interesting. That sounds like a positive trend. So what led to that? Was that activism or was that legislation? No, it wasn't legislation, we discussed that, but was it district attorneys? What led to that scenario where it's...
Seattle's a very progressive city. We've got a lot of very left-leaning folks here, and
okay.
Just a lot of pressure has been put on the city of Seattle, especially because we've got a big homeless problem.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of folks here recognize that people are homeless because they don't have a lot of money. People don't have a lot of money when they're paying fines to the courts, and people probably shouldn't be having to pay those fines to the court for things that are hurting people. So maybe let's not put that burden on them and help them maybe get a leg up that way. And I think that's been a really positive thing with the progressive movement here in Seattle.
So the Libertarian Party, you would say, overlaps with the progressive movement in Seattle?
On a few issues, yeah. We definitely recognize that government has been in the way of especially our, low-income people of color populations. We've had redlining out here too. Like we recognize that as a common issue. We don't necessarily agree on the ways to handle it, but we're not opposed to working together as long as we can on especially single issues like that.
Sure. In regard to homelessness, what is your party's position on that? How do you believe we should handle the issue of homelessness?
I'm not sure that there's like a one-size-fits-all because Seattle is different than a lot of other cities. I know that when I have talked to other individuals who are passionate about the homelessness issue, at least here in the Puget Sound region, we've talked about, just allowing people to kind of choose what they want to do with their lives, but also even putting money into voluntary programs for addiction or whatever. We, of course, wouldn't want anything to be government mandated, but I know a lot of people in my region that have a heart for this problem and these people experiencing it that do want to put money into private organizations as long as there aren't, all those federal mandates, and that's kind of our problem here.
So your solution to homelessness is not through the government like many people would be, but through private organizations and private charity.
Yeah, and voluntary participation.
Voluntary participation as the homeless could choose whether they want to participate in a drug rehab program or a job program or whatever program.
Yeah, or maybe they just want to camp. And, we should maybe just designate some areas of public land where the public can camp. Like, if that really is what they want, I don't see a libertarian opposition to leaving people alone.
Sure. In regard to sex work, is there a lot of support in the area for decriminalizing or legalizing sex work?
I think there is. Again, it's a very progressive city, so that is in our favor. We also work with individuals at the sex worker outreach program.
Okay.
And these folks go to like nail salons to talk to those women who maybe are being sex trafficked, and they help them, you know, get out of the sex trafficking, but we're also trying to advocate for legalizing what they're doing so they're not getting arrested while they're being trafficked. And so, yeah, that really is some momentum that we've got there. That was a really poor sentence, but you get the idea?
Sure. So it does sound like there's some entanglement going on, because from a libertarian perspective, you don't want to impose on the sex workers tell them what to do. On the other hand, there's a lot of human trafficking going on, so it seems to me that it involves some skill and some finesse to find a solution where you allow people the liberty, yet you don't allow the traffickers the right to traffic people.
Yeah, it's a very delicate balance for sure.
So what do you believe leads to the trafficking, and how can we stop trafficking from a libertarian perspective?
So I suppose this is my social work background that is going to answer the first part of the question.
Okay.
Which is things. Socioeconomical factors are huge, right? Lower income people are more likely to do things for income that cost them $0 in startup fees. And if you can do it with your own body, that's free money. And so some folks choose that for very logistical economic reasons. And they end up being trafficked because they're naive and they heard about this as a good business opportunity maybe. Or maybe they didn't even know that's what was happening and they've just been kidnapped. Like, sometimes it's just people looking for opportunities to give themselves a leg up, but because there's no legal way to do that, they end up being taken advantage of. Now, of course, the libertarian answer to that problem is, let's legalize it. So if a woman is being trafficked, she doesn't have to worry about coming to the police and being arrested or having them not believe her because they think she's all of these derogatory terms. Women can say, look, I've been doing this job that is a legal job, but this person has kidnapped me and whatever. And instead of her being afraid of getting in trouble, she can actually just tell on them. And I think that would be the best solution for most people.
Sure. It sounds like a sensible approach. So since you were involved in the leadership positions of both, you said, the state of Washington and also in the King County, Seattle area, kindly tell our audience what responsibilities you have. Maybe they want to get involved in leadership in their political party and they might want to know what that entails. So kindly explain that to us.
Well, as far as being on the board is concerned, it really is a couple hours of work a week. We're either helping candidates run for office, or we're reading bills that the legislature is going to vote on, and we're telling people about those bills so that we can go speak when they're voting on those. It could be going to a sign wave and just holding up a sign once a month for whatever our big issue of the month is. It really varies. We try to fit people into where their skill set is going to be most valuable, because no one's going to have fun if they're doing a job they don't like, that they don't feel like they're good at, even if it's for a cause they really believe in. So the opportunities are endless, and we'd love to have anyone. LPWA.org is our website, and we can get you funneled to wherever you need to go if you just go there first.
So your responsibility as a chair is to take the people who are coming in interested in the party and find roles that they can flourish in?
Now, I'm technically vice chair, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing is when I talk to people, when I meet them at events. We've got our convention coming up February 12th if you want to go. So that's, I talk to people, just kind of see what they're interested in, what they're passionate about, and really just try to make them feel like they're valuable in the liberty movement. Yeah.
Sure. Since you were involved in the Joe Jorgensen campaign, kindly tell us what that experience was like and what you learned from it.
Oh man, it was really interesting. It was very fun, but man, was it a lot of work. We went door knocking, obviously because of COVID. We didn't talk to anyone, but we got our steps in, walking from door to door, putting pamphlets on everyone's doors. I learned how to figure out who a super voter was and like how to target which doors to put things on, because we know those people are going to vote. Like I signed up to just put flyers on people's doors, and I just learned so much about just that process in general from that one little activity. And I think that's my biggest takeaway is I just learned so much, even just being on the campaign, just being like a normal person in the beginning, not really knowing anything. Like now I feel like I know so much more, and I can be so much more effective, like even just with one small little thing like door knocking. Like it was a really cool learning experience. So in a couple of years, we're doing it again.
Yes. It'll be interesting to see who you select as your candidate in the next election.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we get Spike Cohen again because I really liked him. Joe's cool too, but I guess I'd be happy with either one.
Interesting. So you said you went door knocking in this campaign, you did a lot of canvassing, it sounds like. What did you have a position in the campaign? What was your role, official role in the campaign?
My official role was actually volunteer director, and so I knew about all the volunteer opportunities. If we were having an event or someone was doing something in their area, I would try to, put the news out to other people so that if anyone nearby wanted to help them, they could. But as far as doing any of the actual helping do candidate advertising and stuff, that was my first experience ever, door knocking and stuff.
Interesting. Is the Libertarian Party of Washington and or the Libertarian Party of Seattle fielding any candidates in 2022?
We're working on it. We already have a couple elected officials. I know we have a guy down in Covington elected, Joe. We may have another person running for legislature named David Wiley. I believe he's already announced, but he's not started his campaign yet, I don't think. But all of those will be up on our website, lpwa.org, as they start filing in. So you can always check there for updates.
Sounds good. So you said you had an individual that was elected in Covington.
Mm-hmm.
What position was he elected to? That's exciting.
Oh, I don't remember. He's going to be so mad at me. His name is Joe Simomo. He's on I think he might be on their city council. I'll have to double check.
Good for him. Good job.
I'm looking it up now.
All right. That's exciting to celebrate these victories.
Yeah.
If you can't find it, that's all right. But it's
yeah.
It's good to know that you won an office. That's exciting.
Yeah, we had like 4 of them too. I should have had this pulled up beforehand. Here we go. Yeah, so we got 3 people, or 2 people elected. We got Maya Ojaleto. She was the South Snohomish County Fire and Rescue Commissioner, position 6.
Interesting.
And then Joe Simomo, Covington City Council, position 4. And then we had a few other folks. We had 3 other folks that identified as Libertarian, but they weren't. We didn't officially support them. So 5 Libertarians total.
Good job.
Yeah.
You have mentioned your website, lpw.org. So going to the website. I'm sorry.
.org.
lpw. What?
LPWA.
lpwa.org.
And then Washington, yeah.
Okay. So our listeners can go to that website if they're interested. Is there any other way that our audience can support you?
We also have a meetup group, so the Libertarian Party of Washington meetup group. There's also Facebook groups. There's, I think there's a MeWe, maybe. We're kind of on a lot of the different alternative places occasionally. So if you find us there, join our groups. We'll put information there occasionally. Yeah, that website's probably the best. We have a Discord too, so if you join and become a member, you can join our Discord and get in all the fun conversations, the friendly debates and whatnot.
Excellent. So listeners, you can go there when you want to support them.
Yeah.
Danielle.
We look forward to meeting new people, I hope.
I'm sorry, you think you can meet a lot of new people there?
I said we look forward to meeting new people, I hope.
Yes, that would be great. Danielle, thank you kindly for coming on the podcast today and sharing all the exciting things that's going on with your party.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to have you. We wish you all the best to you and your party. May you continue to do great things.
And the same with you and your podcast.
Take care. Bye now.
You too. Bye.